Hey everyone, it's Philippa here. Today is Sunday the 24th of December, so it is Christmas Eve. I just thought I'd stop by and make a quick video just to update you all on sort of what's been going on so far. Basically on the 14th of December, after it being waylaid for 2 weeks due to being ill and having a low white blood cell count, I had my first session of chemotherapy. So the drug they gave me it's called EC, which stands for epirubicin and cyclophosphamide. They were the drugs I was given about 10 days ago. As I said before, I had a porta cath fitted. It sits under my skin here. It's like a little button which they can inject the drugs into. It then goes up a tube that goes sort of into my neck here and drops into one of the veins at that point. It makes it a lot easier apparently to administer the chemotherapy drugs. You can also have something called a PICC line, which sits in your arm, I think about here. Apparently they're more prone to infection, so people often have to have those removed, changed, or I'm not sure, I obviously don't have one. The plus line, I think, of having a PICC line is they can actually take bloods from it, whereas with this they like not to disturb it and only really use it for the chemotherapy drugs. The whole process actually took about 20 minutes to administer. This round of chemotherapy, I'll have 3 sessions of it, and it's given to me by a nurse. By hand they administer it with syringes that go into here. So the nurse had sent me home with some numbing cream, so basically a mild anaesthetic cream called Emla cream, and it just means that when they put the needle in through the skin, it's not as uncomfortable. I did have it flushed a couple of days before having chemo, and it was quite painful. So if it's something you're going through, do ask for some Emla cream. The nurse administered it, as I said, by hand. Attached to a drip as well, and it sort of mixes in the saline with the drugs as they go into your body. They also send you home with 5 days of injections, and that's to boost your white blood cells. Again, I've forgotten what it's called. There's just been so much going on in my brain that I can't retain everything, but the needles are quite small. Again, it was like when I had the IVF. Really little needles, just a subcut injection that goes into your stomach. So I got home from having my chemotherapy, was feeling okay, and decided to go about my day as normal. So in hindsight, I would say if you're going through this, don't do what I did. Everyone reacts differently. It depends on you, it depends on the drugs you're being given, and I guess the intensity of them. And it's one of those things you kind of have to play by ear. But as I said, I came home, I had a normal lunch, and within a couple of hours, I just went completely downhill. I was really, really sick, and for the rest of the day, I couldn't keep anything down, not even water. I would sip water. The nausea was unbelievable. They send you home with different anti-sickness drugs, and they were doing absolutely nothing. I was just on the sofa, feeling like my body was dying. It was absolutely horrible. With chemotherapy, another thing you have to do is get yourself one of these. It's an in-ear thermometer, and it's just, you have to keep an eye on your temperature. The nurse has said if it sort of hits 37.5 and you're feeling okay, then that's fine. If you're not feeling okay, call them at the hospital, and if it hits around 38, go to A&E straight away. And I persevered at home. I kept trying to sip water, and nothing was staying down. So eventually on Friday, I was admitted to hospital. Now, another thing you're given if you're going through chemo is one of these, or this works just as well. It's a chemotherapy information card, or the basically this is the nurse described it as a get out of jail free card when you get into A&E, rather than waiting for any, you know, sometimes it could be 4 hours. They triage you as soon as they can. They keep you separated from other people who might have illnesses because your immune system's so low. It's really dangerous if you can pick up other bugs and things. So yeah, I was seen really quickly, and then the triage nurse got me to have another cannula fitted. That was cannula number 10 in my left arm in the last 3 months. My veins are so bruised. But that being said, they were able to take bloods from that and determine whether or not I had an infection or whether I was just really sort of dehydrated. They then got me into my own little side ward while they were sort of working out what to do with me. They did ask me to do a urine sample, which was an interesting experience because as a woman doing a urine sample at the best of times, it's a little bit tricky. But at this point I was attached to a drip and didn't have a drip stand, so I had to sort of detach the bag and take that into the loo. It was tricky, but anyhow, so I managed it, and the results came back as I was dehydrated, which I could have told them because it had been 2 days and I hadn't kept any water down. But then I was admitted to the acute medical unit at St Peter's Hospital. I was there from from Friday till Sunday. I needed to be in hospital because I needed to be on a drip. I needed the IV fluids going into my body because I was unable to keep anything down. I think until Sunday, they were giving me IV anti-sickness drugs, and yeah, it took a very long time to settle. Eventually, they gave me something called 40 juice because I wasn't eating or drinking, and that was sort of just try and sustain my energy levels and try and help me recover. When I eventually was discharged on the Sunday, we came home, and it took me a long time to get to sort of the stage I'm at now. Although I was able to keep food down, I'm just picking on fruit and French fries, actually. My body just wanted potatoes, I found, which is very, very strange, but that's all I ate for about 5 days, just chips and fruit. That was my staple diet. I eventually branched out to ice cream. I'd read on a forum that ice cream is meant to be really, really nice when you're going through chemotherapy, but it took me a few days to actually want to eat that. I kept having uncontrollable shivers, tremors. I felt my hands were shaking all the time. I was having hot and cold flushes. Sometimes I was roasting hot and then I would be freezing cold like 2 minutes later. So they were symptoms that were actually on the card. There were things that I guess that are to be expected. And at the time you do feel like you are dying. You think that you're never going to get over this, but day by day I got better and better, and now I feel almost back to normal. I'm still pretty fragile on my feet. I'm still tire easily, but I'm a million times better than I was. So all I can say is if this is something that you're about to start, or you're going through your first cycle, then don't lose heart, because it does get easier. I have no idea how I'm going to react to cycle number 2 or the rest of them, but I've got another week and a half to recover until then. And so luckily I'm sort of almost back to myself just in time to enjoy Christmas, which is great. Something else I wanted to say to you. Yeah. So as a woman going through chemotherapy before I've even had children, one of the side effects can be infertility. It can actually bring on the menopause. And so when I was going through the IVF treatment, the gynecologist wrote to my oncologist recommending that I stay on an injection called Prostat, because that is supposed to down-regulate your ovaries, sort of decrease their functionality, and in theory allow less of the drugs to actually interfere with them. That's my non-doctor analogy of it. They did change my injection because they didn't prescribe that one at St Luke's Cancer Centre, and they gave me one called Zoladex. And so that is an implant needle. It was unbelievable. The size of the needle was humongous. It looked like the prong of a fork. When the nurse said, oh, just lie down on the bench over here. And I was like, oh, if it's just a normal subcut injection, I can sit up. And she went, no, you need to lie down for this one. And when I saw the size of the needle, I nearly ran out screaming. But, you know, it's for the, you know, the greater good eventually. So, yeah, I'll be sticking with those. They're once a month, so I probably have another 5 of those, but I just need to grow up and, you know, it's just a needle at the end of the day. Oh, I also had bloods taken from my hand on the Sunday when I was in hospital because there were just no veins for the phlebotomist to get to. So he came in with his little trolley and put the tourniquet on here. And this poor vein, this one right there is the one where I've had 5 cannulas, and he had to try twice. And although he used that tiny little butterfly, oh my goodness, it wasn't very comfortable. But anyway, it's enough of me moaning and ranting about my last week and a half. I hope you all have a really wonderful Christmas. I can't believe how quickly the year's gone. I know everyone says it, it just seems that as we get older, the years seem to fly by more and more quickly. Maybe it's because we get into a routine and we don't really look up until December hits and things start to slow down. So I really hope you enjoy your Christmas, enjoy your holidays wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Sending you all lots of love, and I will catch up with you all in the new year.